Well, ahoy mateys, here we are doing 5.6, which is all about finding percents of numbers and finding numbers that represent percents of numbers. We'll get into that. All right, so this is what you're going to want to take some notes on. It's a little bit of how to find percents of numbers. The main thing is to remember that, again, percent is out of 100. So you want to rewrite the percent as a fraction, your favorite fractions. So if you're trying to find 20% of 60, as in this example, you can do that a couple of ways, but one way is to take the 20%, turn it into 20 out of 100, which can simplify to 1/5, and then multiply that by 60. So whenever you see of in one of these problems, that means to multiply. So you do 20% of 60 is 1/5 times 60, which ends up being 12. So 12 is 20% of 60. All right, so this is a great thing to take some notes on. Now we're going to go through this example right down here, but I think they actually have a whole nother slide for us to do that with. Here we go. So 25% of 40 is what number? So you want to rewrite the 25% as 1/4, because 25% is 25 out of 100. That can reduce to 1/4. And then again, of means to multiply. So we're doing 1/4 times 40. So what is 1/4 times 40? It is 10, yes. You can get that by cross-canceling or just multiplying and simplifying. You get 10. So 25% of 40 is 10. Okay, now here's some to do on your own. Okay, let me shrink me. Oh, no. All right, here we go. So the first one we just did, 25% of 40, we just found out was 10. What about 30% of 50? Okay, it is 15. So 30% can simplify to 3/10 as a fraction. 3/10 times 50 is 15. Okay, what about 5% of 16? Okay, that is 0.8 or 8/10. So again, 5% is 1/20th when you simplify it, and 1/20th times 16 is 16/20ths or 8/10, or 4/5 you might have had as a fraction. Okay, 10% of 46 is? Okay, a shortcut on this one, anytime you're multiplying or finding 10%, you just move the decimal over one spot. So 10% of 46 is 4.6. It's 1/10 of 46. Okay, 15% of 80. Okay, so for this one, it is 15/100ths, which can simplify to 3/20ths times 80 ends up being 12. And this last one, 2% of 500 is 10. So 200ths can simplify to 1/50th, and 1/50th times 500 is 10. Okay. If that's easy for you, then this assignment's going to be a breeze. We will get to some slightly trickier ones. And if that's difficult for you, we're going to show you another way to do these using ratio tables. So rather than having to multiply with fractions, you can use ratio tables. So the way you set it up, if you're trying to find 60% of 150, is you start off by doing 60 over 100 as one of your ratios in the ratio table, because that's the percent you have. So we have 60 parts out of the whole, which is 100. And then you can simplify this and keep multiplying or dividing until we end up, we're trying to find out 60% of 150. So we want this whole part to be 150. So here what they did is they turned 100 into 50. So they divided both the 60 and the 100 by 2. So that 60 over 100 ratio is the same as 30 over 50. And then you can multiply 50 by 3 to get 150, which is what we're looking for. Do 30 times 3 to get 90. So 90 is 60% of 150. Okay, so take a second to look this over, make sure this all makes sense, and then we're going to move on. But this is how you can use ratio tables for those of you that don't love fractions. Okay, so, this one, notice, it's not 70% of a given number. They're saying 70% of question mark of what number is 48. Okay, so in this case, we're not multiplying to get the answer because we don't know what this number is. So for this one, we're actually going to divide. Okay, so if it's saying some percent of a we don't know what number is this answer, we will use division to get to the answer. So here we got to do 48 divided by 75%. Okay, which again, you're going to write 75% as a fraction, as 75 over 100 can be simplified to 3/4. Okay, so that's how you're going to do the ones where we're looking for the of what number. Okay, so it's division. So hopefully you remember that when you divide fractions, you got to do the reciprocal of the second fraction. You flip it over, and then it becomes a multiplying problem. So it's 48 times 4/3, which is 64. And again, you can cross cancel, or you can just multiply 48 times 4 and then divide by 3. So 64 is, 75% of 64 is 48. This can also be done modeled here on a lovely tape diagram. Okay, this is also similar to a ratio table. And I believe this next example shows you how to use ratio tables for these types of problems. Actually, let me go back here real quick. Make sure to look this over. Take some notes on it if it helps. Make sure this all makes sense to you. Okay, so now this one, we're going to do the same type of problem, but using a ratio table. So 120% of what number is 72? So again, one way to do this is do 72 divided by 120%, which we would write as 120 over 100, simplify, and so on. Okay, using a ratio table, though, okay, we're going to start with the percent again. This time it's 120%, so it's 120 is the part, and the whole is 100. And we're trying to find out of what number is 72. So in this case, we're trying to make the top, the part, equal 72. So what they did is they divided the 100 by 20 and the 120 by 20 to get an equivalent ratio of 6:5. And then that 6 can be turned into 72, which is what we're looking for, by multiplying by 12. So you also have to multiply the 5 by 12. So it's 72/60ths is the same ratio as 120%, or 120 hundredths, which tells you that 120% of 60 is 72. There we go. Okay, again, look this over. See if you understand how to use ratio tables to solve these types of problems. On the big ideas, you'll have your choice of either doing the fractions with the division and multiplication or doing the ratio tables, whatever you prefer. Okay, so this is it for like the mild types of problems. However, you may encounter some word problems that use these types of percentages. So we're going to go over 2 of those. If these are super challenging for you, you might need to come see me or Mrs. Rude to get some help as you're working through the big ideas. So here we have the width of a rectangular room is 80% of the length. Tells you the length here is 15 feet. So what is the area of the room? So first you need to find the width, which is 80% of 15 feet. So see if you can figure out what is 80% of 15 feet. Okay, so to get the 80% of 15 feet, 80% is 80 over 100, simplifies to 4/5. 4/5 times 15 is 12. So the width is 12 feet. Okay, and then it's asking you for the area. So keep in mind, sometimes when you're doing this, you're not done yet. The area is length times width. So to get the area, it's 15 times 12 is 180 square feet. So you may encounter some of these types of problems, especially if you're doing the spicy assignment. And then you also may encounter some of these problems. So you win an online auction for concert tickets. Your winning bid, which was $120, it's really blurry though, is 60% of your maximum bid. So this 120 is 60% of what you were willing to spend. How much more were you willing to pay? Okay, so I want you to use any strategy at all to try and solve this, try and figure it out, and then we'll go through how to do it. Plus it's multiple choice. Good luck. All right, let's see how you did. So your maximum bid is the whole, and the winning bid is the part. Okay, so this 120 is the part. All right, so this can be done on a ratio table, which I think they show us later. This can also be done by dividing 120, which is the winning bid, by 60%. Okay, so again, you do the reciprocal of the other fraction and multiply, and you find out that it's 200. So 200 was your maximum bid. You bid 120, so you were willing to go $80 more. So the answer was B if you answered that one. And there we go. And apparently they didn't do it with the ratio table, but this can also be solved with the ratio table. All right, so this was a very... I know it was a lot of information. If you have questions, make sure to see me or email me or see Mrs. Rude through the ASC link. Good luck as you work through big ideas, and I'll see you in the next live session. Arr!